work out, so yeah, just laugh out if you want and write some funny comments on the comment section below. I will read them and then I will most likely pick my favorites and make some sort of dumb list. But anyway, I was in a barber, so grow up and get that out of your system. And now, before we start talking about these Tintin movies, I know this comes a bit too late, but better late than never. If you're expecting hours of hilarity on this, where I nitpick on every single last solitary thing that's wrong with this, you are going to be disappointed.
The fact of the matter is that Tintin movies aren't bad, with one or two exceptions, mind you.
Don't get me wrong, these are no masterpieces, but you really shouldn't look at these as such. You should look at these more like you watch Indiana Jones movies or Star Wars movies. Just something that wants to entertain you for 2 hours, and on that, they do that. These are really good, these are enjoyable movies, and I like them.
Now, the very first live-action Tintin movie came out in 1961. Why to wait for so long after that stop-motion movie, you may ask?
Well, there was that itsy teeny tiny little thing. There was that war that devastated Europe. And I for one think that you might want to do some rebuilding before you would do something like a silly live action movie adaptation of an long running and beloved comic book series.
Now our movie begins, and sweet tap dancing Christ on steroids and acid, this movie is in color!
That means that this has production values? Oh my good lord, this movie has production values.
Now I know that many of you are wondering that it's no big deal if it's in color since, well, let's face it, every single last solitary movie is in color. And you'd be right, but back in the day it was expensive to use color film on movie making, and especially on something like a comic book movie, mind you. I mean, that must have been really expensive back in the day. I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the fact that I'm from Finland and that movies pretty much stayed black and white for quite a while. But anyway, moving on. We see the postman passing by Tintin. He looks like a llama. And thus we meet Captain and the Professor Calculus in Montreal. And Captain gets a letter that tells a man he wants help in the storm has passed away and has left his entire fortune to him.
I know. If they met so briefly, then it really doesn't make any sense. But mind you that this is an adventure movie, so who cares? And it has Tintin and Haddock and all my favorite comic book characters, so to hell with that!
After a brief debate between Captain and Tintin whether or not they should go to Turkey to see this man's fortune, they decide to go and leave the others behind. So they fly to Turkey, where they discover that the ship they were to inherit should be recycled, and Haddock tells this to Captain. Yes, the now passed away Captain, but it's a painting, it's a sailor thing, I guess, I don't know. But then they found out that there is a man called Caribbean.
Do you get it? It's a pun, and puns are hilarious! What? You don't get it? Caribbean? Caribbean? As in rifle. I know, it's hilarious. It's the funniest joke I have ever heard since I watched Borat.
Who wants to buy it? Because he collects these ships. Huh.
Yes, some millionaires collect stamps, other rare movies. Some people, like me, like to collect rubbish, but Caribbean, he collects ships. That's my future, I know. I'm going to collect ships that are just junk.
But Tintin and Haddock decide to wait and think this over before they accept it. They then decide to go and explore Turkey, which I kinda get that this point was supposed to maybe promote Turkey, maybe the crew wanted to go to Turkey, I don't know, maybe it was part of the script or something, but look at this shot, it's weird. I mean, 1960s movies, I mean, this is creating atmosphere, right? I mean, I don't know, moving on. Their guide traps them in the tower and sends some henchmen to kill them. But, unfortunately, the guide and the henchmen, they knew nothing about Tintin. And thus, Tintin and Haddock are saved, and then they decide to find out why people were trying to kill them, and take the last round that the ship's previous owner had.
And this movie actually starts. The whole plot is about Tintin and Haddock finding out more and more about the Paparonic from his crew, and also learning more and more about the treasure, while avoiding Caribbean from killing them. And so this movie actually starts. The whole plot is about Tintin and Haddock. And so this movie actually starts. The whole plot is about Tintin and Haddock finding out more and more about the captain from his crew. And so this movie actually starts. The whole plot is about Tintin and Haddock finding out more and more about the Captain Paparonic from his crew, while they are trying to find out where the treasure is. All this combined with the fact that they are avoiding Caribbean from killing them.
During the course of the movie, Tintin and Haddock realized that the captain was a pirate. Yeah! Who with his crew arrived on Tetaragua. I actually have no idea where that is, whether or not it was actually created by himself, but I can only presume that it takes place on the Tintin South America, so go figure. Now, Tetaragua was one typical South American nation on Tintin universe. It was under revolution. But then Paparonic arrived and he took things into his own hands with his men and he formed the government with his crew. Yes, because apparently you can now do that. Because, as we all know, pirates can do that. No, seriously, pirates can do that. Didn't you see Pirates of the Caribbean 3? Oh, you did. That was one bad movie, wasn't it? Anyway, let's stay focused here. But their government was short-lived because the actual revolutionists, who were probably hiding in the jungle, I don't know, came and they had to flee. But they did the smart decision and they took half of the Tetaragua's treasury with them. After that, Tintin and Haddock started to wander on where they had treasure. And Thompson come along, as does the Professor Calculus. And then Tintin and Haddock find the treasure and we have the climax of the movie and it is glorious. I mean seriously, look at this stuff. There's an extra helicopter and they fly with it. What did I tell you about the production values of this movie? I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, a real helicopter in the very first live-action Tintin movie. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. So Tintin and Haddock with the professor find the treasure and get the salute from Tetaragua, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But who cares? The movie ends. Plus, we had this right in the coke moment here. I mean, Jesus Christ, that climax was just so good.
All in all, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie.
The story is basic and has some plot holes, but some of the action scenes are pretty cool and the production values are amazing. The acting was surprisingly good. Jean-Pierre Talbot as Tintin was actually surprisingly good. And George Wilson as Captain Haddock was, again, good. Georges Loriot as Professor Calculus was good. All in all, the acting range from solid to good.
So, if you like action-adventure movies or Tintin, you should definitely check this one out. Live long and prosper. Asahmana is out.